Welcome to Trichotillomania Bootcamp. This is episode number 7, and today we are going to put together all of the things that we talked about so far to get started on our path toward full and sustainable remission. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so this is episode number 7, and today we are going to put together all of the ingredients we spoke about before and put them to work. So how do I get started today on my path to a full and sustained remission? Number 1, no more shame. So the characteristic of trichotillomania is that aspect of shame and disempowerment. We don't really know how to explain to other people our hair pulling behavior, so we withdraw and we feel bad about it. So instead of that, let's do something different. Find in your environment people that can be helpful and supportive on your path toward remission. It can be your family, friends, people that you're close to, people that you trust, and recruit them to be your support team, to be able to talk to them, to be able to get support from them on your path toward recovery. The most important part is to break the silence, to be able to talk about your condition, to be able to talk about the fact that you are working toward recovering from it. So number 1, no more shame. Number 2, get your motivation going. This is going to be a bit of a process, right? In the previous episode I mentioned, take 4 weeks to dedicate the next 4 weeks for reaching the full and sustainable remission for yourself, right? So it can take a bit of time. So within this time, you have to keep your motivation going. You have to keep yourself pumped about the possibility of full remission. So motivation is a tricky thing. There are 2 types of motivation, right? There's motivation toward and motivation away from. So let's start with motivation away from. Motivation away from is when we are getting motivated by the things that we don't want, right? So I want to exercise because I don't want to be overweight. I want to make money because I don't want to be poor. This is motivation away from. If you think of a wall, right, you're pushing yourself against the things that you don't want to propel yourself closer to the opposite, to things that you do, right? Now, motivation away from is important motivation. So I want to stop pulling my hair because I don't want to have these bald patches on my face or my scalp, right? I want to stop pulling my hair because I don't want people to look with this strange eyes, strange gaze at me. I don't want to seem weird to people. I don't want the XYZ of the consequences of my hair pulling behavior. I don't want that. So this is a move away from. This is the away from motivation that is really important, actually. Motivation away from is really good about getting us going, about helping us to start action, right? I don't want this, let me do something different. In a way, it's like pushing yourself against the wall of the things that you don't want. Now, the issue with that is when you are well on your way in the process of remission, that wall against which you are pushing, right, that you will have less and less of the bald patches, you will less and less of negative outcomes of hair pulling, so that motivation away from will be farther and farther away from you. That wall against which you are pushing will be moving farther and farther away, so that motivation away from will be slowly decreasing. Maybe not so slowly, it will decrease substantially pretty quickly. And if you don't have any other motivations to propel you forward, then you're going to stop and relapse, right? We can think of people that are dieting, right? People that are dieting because they don't want to be overweight, they don't want to have the love handles, they don't want to have this and that about the body, so they do different kinds of diet, right? And then they get well on their way in their diet process, and they are far enough from the things that they don't want, that this motivation away from subsides, and what usually happens is that they relapse right back into their previous eating habits and gain the weight that they have lost, right? We really are familiar with this process. Same thing with trichotillomania. Once we are far enough away from our reoccurrence of pulling incidents, the motivation away from will subside, and we are risking relapsing back into our habitual behavior. So motivation away from is important. And if you're watching this, you already have this motivation. You don't want to pull your hair because of all these negative outcomes that you get from this. So motivation away from is in place. Motivation toward is really important. So if motivation away from is a wall that you're pushing against, away from, motivation toward is a rope that you propel yourself forward with, right? So motivation toward is the vision of the things that you do want, about the new possibilities. So I want to let go of my hair pulling because I want to enjoy full eyebrows and eyelashes. I want to have the haircuts that I like. I want to be able to enjoy my look and my hair and my body. I want to be able to connect with people without having, well, this is an away from. I want to connect with people with a sense of openness and with the outgoing energy. I want to be able to reach out. I want to feel and experience my life differently. So this is motivation toward. This is a rope that is in front of you, right? That you are pulling yourself toward. Now, the beauty about motivation toward is that this motivation is sustainable over time. There's always something more ahead of you that can propel you forward, right? So you had some time within remission. Now you can go a bit deeper and work on the full recovery from hair pulling. Now you grew your hair to the length that you thought would be impossible just few maybe months ago. Now you can think of different things that you can do with your hair, different products that you can use, different looks to explore, all of these fun things that you can do. This is motivation toward. And both of these motivations, the away from and the toward motivation, the wall and the rope, together create a really powerful combination. Now, since you already have the motivation away from, I'm encouraging you to develop a vision for motivation toward. What will be the amazing things about being in full remission from hair pulling? What your hair will look like, your eyelashes, your eyebrows, whatever you are pulling, what will it look like? What will be the feeling of you having this? What will be your experience? Find pictures in the magazines online that represent this experience for you. Cut these pictures out and place them in the visible places for them to be a reminder of things that you want, and for them to be a reminder of why you're doing what you're doing right now, why you're working toward your remission, why is it important for you. Work on this motivation toward, create a lot of it, and keep going, right? So this that part of motivation, right? This is the second part that you can do today. So we talked about no more shame. We talked about get your motivation going. The third part, we talked about the awareness, right? So the TLC journal. TLC journal is something that if you haven't started up until now, this is a great day to start your TLC journal. You can refer back to episode number 4, I believe. I'm sorry, episode number 5. So TLC journal, look at the episode and start your journal to create the foundation of awareness on your path toward remission. Then, I hope you already did, but if you didn't, devise a consequence. We talked about the consequence as a part of the remission formula of remission equals awareness plus consequence in episode number 6. So you can go back and refer to episode number 6. If you haven't devised the consequence of your hair pulling incidents, this is a good time to do it, right? So devise the consequence and start applying the formula. So whenever you have an episode of pulling behavior, administer the consequence, do the consequence, and then record the incident in your TLC journal. And finally, the no judgment approach. Give yourself at least 4 weeks to really experience the full effect of all the things that you are doing right now. In the beginning, it might be a bit tougher because you will have to deliver the consequence frequently, and you will have to write down in your TLC journal quite frequently. And this is absolutely expected and okay. If you think again about the fitness program, let's say, right? If I start with a new program in the gym, and I expect results to be seen within a few days or within a week or within 2 weeks, I'm likely to be disappointed because the results of the fitness programs are measured within a bigger chunks of time. I will need to look back at 3 months or maybe even 6 months to see how effective the program was, how transformative was it for my body. So same thing with the hair pulling behavior. You have had the behavior for quite some time, up until now, I'm guessing. So give yourself 4 weeks of full dedication to completely follow the remission formula and see how you get yourself into remission. I'm really looking forward to hearing your stories, to hear your comments, to hear your creative ways of application of the remission formula. Please like, comment, share, and I will see you guys in 1 week.